Hey there, it's Jenny from Southern Savers. It's our Monday night Q&A, which is your time to ask any questions that you have, saving money, couponing, budgeting, the sky's the limit, really. Let's just stick with money saving, at least somewhere in that category. If you have a question, leave it in the comments and I will scroll through and try to stay up on all of them and make sure that I'm catching all of them. If you don't have questions, that's okay. You just hang out because we always have a topic that we're going to cover in between questions. And tonight, I decided to kind of do things like I would if I was doing a news segment. So I picked a topic for us to cover that is almost like, well, it is a blog post. And I've put it up on the site too, so that link is at the top of the video. So if you can't hang out for the whole hour, you want to catch what the 10 items are that we were going to hit on tonight, you can click through and grab each one of those if you want all together versus needing to watch or just to recap if you want that too. So yes, Shanna's asking, was the Kohl's deal extended? It was. So it was supposed to end at 1 p.m. We can just start there with a deal. And the Kohl's deal was extended until midnight tonight. So if you did not take advantage of that one, you have until midnight tonight. It's double stacking Kohl's deals, and I popped in on a video this morning on Facebook to try to make sure folks knew, because this morning we thought we were only going to have it for a few hours. So you have maybe 4 more hours. It's midnight Central Time. Kohl's and Target, those are the big stores that live in Central Time. Those of us on Eastern Time, just go to bed. You've got till 1 a.m. But you get 25% off and an additional 15% off. So we've hit Kohl's. Let's see, and Sue's already got an off-topic question too, so we can hit a couple of those. I've been looking for a deal on kitchen trash bags, but I'm running out of time. Any ideas? So Sue, that is one where I would use the item search that is on Southern Savers. It's right on the right-hand sidebar of the desktop, or it's down in the footer on the mobile site. Type in trash bags and see all the sales that are available to you in your area. I know we do have $1 off hefty coupons, and we have a $3 off coupon for a mega pack of Glad trash bags. So if you want to go huge and use that $3 off Glad printable, you can too. That's in the coupon database on Southern Savers. But that's where I would point you, is just straight to the item search, and that way you're going to get the deals that are in your area versus me just telling you some that are around town. They may not be stores that you even have, but that is exactly why we built the item search. Okay, to dive in, why I wanted us to cover this tonight, again, feel free to ask any questions that you have in between, and I will pop in and go back to questions as we go through. But we are right near the end of the year. It may not feel like it. December is going to go crazy fast. It always does. And there are some things that just financially you should do before the end of the year. I have a weird quirk, and that is that I love to do taxes. I don't know why. I just always have. So I've always had sister-in-laws bring me their taxes, and folks that work for us asking questions about what should I do in this situation, or when's a good time to refinance. I don't know. It's just weird hobby of mine that I enjoy those things. So some of these are definitely tax-related questions, and just to put the disclaimer out there, I am not an accountant, and you should always consult your own personal accountant before making any financial changes. So there, we're covered. But the big things that I want you to do is kind of getting a grasp on what your finances look like for 2017. I'm not saying you need to sit down and fully do your taxes, but it would not hurt to start plugging in and assigning things. How much have you given to charity this year? How much have we, already had in mortgage interest? Are we going to even hit some levels for itemizing taxes, or are you going to completely miss them? Number one is definitely any last minute donations. Those have to be made by the end of the year, but don't just think money here, guys. So think goodwill, think donations that you may have that are actual products. So a great app for that, it's free, is the It's Deductible app. that is by TurboTax. So if you have not ever played with this, you literally type in what you're giving away and it tells you what a reasonable value is to deduct for that. So you aren't making something up. It's not like you're saying, I'm giving away my underwear and it's worth $40. Please don't do that. But the app is going to walk you through, this is a reasonable amount for that particular item. And you can go kind of vague with it if you want. You can just say, 5 t-shirts, and it'll give you just a generic price on t-shirt. But if it's something, if you've got a Coach purse, it can handle that too. So you can go brand names or generic, either way, it's happy. So that app it's deductible, and it's in all the app stores that are out there, but it's free and it's a good one to use if you're doing actual product, things that you're donating to Goodwill or to local charities like that aren't financial. So that's number 1. That's an easy one, obvious one for most of us. Number 2, though, is to review your other deductions to make sure that you aren't near any of those thresholds. Because for some folks, you are really close to being able to itemize, and you could kind of push yourself over to that point. So pay any state taxes, property taxes that you have before the end of the year. I know most of those bills allow you to pay them up until January 15th of next year. But if you do them in January 15th of next year, they would go on next year's taxes. We're not going to go into politics tonight, but that might actually be a pretty bad idea to push anything that could be itemized off to 2018 taxes, because there's a pretty large possibility that most of us won't be itemizing next year with the large increase in standard deductions. That's what we're seeing. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but that's what we're seeing in all of the new laws. So don't push things off to next year. Take them this year. Pay those taxes, property taxes on your car, your house, all of it this year before December 31st so that it can count towards this year's taxes, especially if you're really close to being able to itemize. Again, make donations to charity. Another one that folks overlook is some work-related expenses. Not all of them are tax deductible, but a lot of work-related education courses. If you can use it, it benefits you, but your employer didn't pay for it, it can be tax deductible. So if you're super close to a threshold, that could be one to add into the mix to kind of push you over that threshold as well. I mean, the big ones, guys, are always your charitable donations. So tithing, if you're giving 10% to the church, your mortgage interest, those are the big ones that usually kick people over. But sometimes little ones help out too. Okay, I'm going to jump back. I know there was a question, and then we'll come back. So that was the first 2. Again, there's a link at the top of the video, so you can always click through. YouTube folks, if you, I will just put the link in the comments for you guys. It is on the main YouTube page, but you're probably watching from Southern Savers, so you wouldn't see it. So one question, Robin was asking about teeth whitening strips. Robin, there are not a ton of deals on teeth whitening strips. We will occasionally see them on drugstore deals, but if you search the item search for Crest strips, yeah, I got nothing right now for you. Searching the item search for Crest strips generally is going to tell you if there are any deals that are out there. Crest is the only one that really makes those. Colgate doesn't have any of their own. It's just a Procter & Gamble item. Let's see, making sure I have all my stores selected too, because I'm always kind of coming in here and checking different stores to only have some results. But yeah, no deals right now, Robin. We do have some coupons, so you could check the coupon database specifically for those white strips and at least save there. Watch for drugstore deals though, because we will see a $5 extra care buck, sometimes even as high as 10 on just Crest products. So medical. So Shanna, let's go with medical, because that is one that folks miss. Medical's in its own kind of boat. For medical expenses, just a general tax note on that, not all of us can deduct them. A lot of us cannot. So to be able to deduct your medical expenses, you have to have them above 10% of your adjusted gross income. or your AGI. That's what accountants are going to say. So if I make $40,000 a year, but I put some in my 401k, that comes off the top, and I have other off the top deductions. Let's say my adjusted gross income is $32,000 a year. I cannot deduct any medical expenses below $3,200. But anything above $32,000, so let's say I spent $3,500 on my medical expenses, I can actually deduct those $300 worth of expenses. Anything above that mark, that 10% mark. So in the medical realm, this could be a lot of things, guys. And if you're close to that mark, you should definitely be keeping track of these, even if you don't think you're gonna hit that mark. I mean, with our deductible nowadays, you could hit it. Our deductible for this past year for our family was $13,000. Thankfully, we did not hit it this year, but we have had years where we did. So, you know, if you're in that high boat, you very likely could have hit that. But some things in case you didn't that might get you a little closer. Don't forget that you can deduct mileage to and from doctor's office visits as medical mileage expenses, and prescription glasses, contacts, hearing aids. You can even deduct the premiums for long-term care insurance. I don't have that. I'll deal with that when I get there, I guess. But if you do, that is another possible deduction for you as well. So all of that in kind of the medical mark. My husband's chatting me again. Please don't forget to emphasize that you're not an accountant. Yes, I said it in the beginning, but I will just emphasize again on that one. I am not your accountant. When we start talking adjusted gross incomes and whatnot, I am not telling you you get to deduct your medical expenses. You have to figure that out for yourself and your own finances. But if you're close, don't forget those mileage markers, because that's really the one that can kick some folks over. It's a pretty good mileage rate. The new, Barbara is saying, am I saying the new tax plan? So this is the goal, Barbara, for them, is that it will be pushed into law and become effective on January 1st. It will not affect 2017's taxes this tax year at all. It will affect 2018's taxes. There are a few things that the Senate bill, because right now that's where we are. The Senate has approved it, the House has approved it, but now we have to make both of those bills match. This is how our government works. So the Senate bill has put a few things to delay another year before they take in effect, but not all of it. It's just going to be a couple pieces that are delayed. If it's passed, all of it will take effect for next year's taxes. So it's best to go into a mindset, especially as we talk deductions, a mindset of claiming what we can claim this year and not pushing things off into next year. Because the standard deduction, you know, not to emphasize, I don't want anyone to take away there. Some deductions are going away, but to emphasize, your standard deduction right now, like for me and my husband, is $12,000. In the new tax bill, it will be $24,000. That's massive. That's doubling and massive. So for some of us, we won't hit the level to even start taking itemized deductions because we wouldn't have that many in the first place. You know, it just you'll kind of see that when you start to look at your own taxes. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up and make sure I don't miss anybody's questions. Like Maying saying, my hubby had a procedure this year. I let the insurance pay, and then I got a 30% discount for paying off the remainder of the bill just for asking. They'll usually give 10%. So yeah, as Maying's just a tip on saving for any medical expenses, anytime you're willing to pay in full, that office will usually give you a pretty nice chunk on a discount for it if you can handle it. Okay, trying to catch up. I think we're pretty good for a little while. So to move on, a few more, and then I'll start to catch everybody's questions too. You should be contributing to your retirement plan. I did a big budgeting workshop in Atlanta, I guess last month, and to emphasize to people, I don't know where your financial planner sits or the people that you listen to, but personally, my tip to you would be that you need to be saving for your own retirement long before you are saving for your children's college fund. And as a parent, that's really hard because as a parent, you feel incredibly guilty. Like, no, I'm supposed to be setting my kids up for college and taking care of them. Nobody gives you a grant. Nobody's going to give you a scholarship to retire. So you need to be funding your retirement long before you fund college for any children. So for that, I would say, are you maxing out your IRA or your 401k? If your work has a 401k and you're not contributing, you should be. Most 401k plans, your work is putting in free money, meaning they have a match. Not all of them do, but a lot of your workplaces have 401k matches. I put in $1, my employer might even just put in 50 cents. That's a free 50 cents. And if you thought about it in terms of the stock market, that's a huge gain on your money, and you didn't even have to wait for it. So, yes, Maine's like always do the match. Whatever that match is. So if your employer does 100% match up to 3% of your salary, I urge you, take it all. Put the full 3% of your salary in. Don't panic. It's broken out over the course of the whole year, but you should always max out whatever that match is that your employer is giving you because it's basically a raise. I may not see it for 25 years, but it's a raise. It's money in my pocket come the future. So you should fully take that. If you don't have a 401k, then you should be doing the IRA. An IRA there are two different kinds, but a traditional IRA, I am going to not pay tax on it right now. I'm going to put that money away. It's coming out of my, basically off the top. It's going to affect my adjusted gross income just like the 401k is. And I can put in a chunk of money in that. You can put in a lot more money in a 401k though than you can in an IRA. So just to kind of give you those two next to each other. If by chance you make a lot of money and you're in a really high tax bracket, you want to at least consider a Roth IRA. I'm not really going to go into what those are, but just know that if you're in a high tax bracket, a Roth IRA is probably a better option for you because when the money comes out, you'll be in a lower IRA. You just want to kind of put those two things out there in general. With contributions to an IRA, you have until April 15th to make those as well. So I don't have to actually fund any of those by the end of the year. I've got a little bit more time if I go with a traditional or a Roth IRA. Okay. Number 5. Well, before we jump out, let's go back to questions because I have missed some of y'all's questions. Let's see. It's hard for me to catch up sometimes. Oh, and some of you are chiming in with some good advice too, like paid parking at hospital and medical offices. Thank you. And Heidi, people will get refunds in 2018. It's more just that threshold for itemizing is going to be a lot higher. Your standard deduction is going to be a lot higher of what's just coming off the top without deductions. Okay. To keep going then, number 5, health savings account. So I want to kind of do number 5 and number 6 together, and that is healthcare. This is a huge time for that. The open enrollment for health insurance is only running through December 15th. So you have 9 more days to make a decision. No pressure here. But if you don't decide on what your insurance is by December 15th, you can't enroll until the next open enrollment period unless something big happens, like you got married or you had a baby. I don't even know what all the things are that allow you to enroll outside of the window. I just know they don't want you to do that. But we're here, we're in that mark, and you should be shopping around. to give you our example, and I actually, if you click through the post, we'll share too, but our health insurance skyrocketed on the renewal for next year to be over $1,200 a month. I can't afford that. That's more than the mortgage for health insurance. And so for us, we have made the decision, and for some of you it was a crazy decision, to actually go off traditional health insurance and onto the MediShare programs that are out there. It's lowering our monthly cost by over $700 and almost $750 a month to switch. It also is lowering our deductible. So that is an option. It's not an option for everybody. If you have pre-existing conditions, if you have current conditions, you're going to have some issues there because they don't pay for pre-existing within the last 3 years. Anna's saying, would I say that almost $200 is reasonable for healthcare for a family of 4? Yes, Anna, that's a good price. I will tell you as an employer, to put healthcare for one person is still about $340 a month for our healthcare on just a 25-year-old. So to pay for a family of 4 for $200, it's a great price with your husband's work. As you are trying to figure out health insurance, a long time ago, Dave Ramsey and folks that were maxing out budgets would have always said your mortgage should be the biggest thing that's coming off the top, and health insurance should be only about 20% or less. All your insurance is 20% or less of what you're earning. And that's really hard for some of us. If you're not in the market or you're not eligible for anything to bring down that cost, $1,200 a month is killer. So if you are looking around, consider the MediShares, consider high deductibles. So this is really number 5 and number 6. I would encourage you, if money is an issue, that you consider a high deductible plan. And what I mean by that is that it's a true high deductible plan. There's no copay. You pay until you've met your deductible, and then they pay at 100%. So that is the plan that we've been on for the last year. Again, if we see a doctor, we're paying. We do get a discount before we pay, so we don't have to pay the full amount, but we're still, whatever the doctor says is due after the insurance has told them what they will pay, we owe that. Well, a true high deductible plan is eligible for a health savings account. And if you click on the link that's at the top of the video, you'll see a little bit more about those two. Health savings accounts are only available for high deductible plans, but they allow you to save $3,300 or $6,500 depending on whether you're single or family. It also is based on what your deductible is for the insurance. That money, this is a pretty amazing account actually. That money goes in tax-free, and as long as you use it for health-related issues, comes out tax-free. There's no other account that does this, period. I mean, even our retirement accounts, it either goes in tax-free and comes out taxed, or your retirement account is taxed and then comes out tax-free. But there's no both other than this one. So if you're considering it a high deductible plan, that extra savings is reducing your adjusted gross income. It's coming off the taxes at the start and can be a pretty big savings for you to consider. It's not a good option for everybody. If you're going to max out your insurance every year, you may really need the copays. You may really need to not be, at worst case scenario, spending all the money possible. But it is out there, and it is a good way to not only reduce your monthly insurance payments, because that high deductible plan is the cheapest one you're going to find, but also to reduce your tax liability because that account goes in tax-free and comes out tax-free. So we actually did this when we set up this kind of insurance a few years ago, set up a health savings account with it, and that let us put some money in to then help pay for braces, because it can be anything that you're using this money for. There are other folks that are, your financial planners in the world are even going to tell you you could leave that money there and never touch it. It can sit in the stock market, and you could use that for long-term care insurance in 30 or 40 years. Now, That's if you're awesome and you're just cool with sticking $6,500 a year somewhere that you never touch. Most of us don't have that money to just stick aside, but if you wanted to, that can be an option too, just to sit there and let it grow. That sounds amazing. But to emphasize that one again on the health insurance, you have through December 15th to make those decisions. If you are still trying to figure out where to go with that, I would push you towards looking with all sorts of insurance brokers online, like eHealth Insurance. There are a number that will sit there and compare them all in front of you. I know for some of you, you don't have a lot of options. We used to live outside of Savannah. I know a lot of the friends that we have that are in the Savannah area currently have one person that provides health insurance to the Savannah area in Georgia. So for some of you, shopping around is not even something to consider. But if you have the ability, I would encourage you to. If you have it through work, that might be the way to go to. And Tambry's chiming in, to go to the healthcare.gov for the list of qualifying events on the open enrollment that we mentioned. So hopefully you won't miss it, but if you do miss it, you maybe can still get it. Melissa is chiming in on your $200 cost too. I pay $625 for medical and dental through work for 3 people. So yeah, $200 is a really, really good price. Jonathan, for dental insurance. Dental insurance is not a typical insurance. So keep in mind, it's usually not going to pay 100% of every single thing that you get. The dentist still gets to charge whatever they want to charge. And then the insurance will pay whatever they're willing to pay, but you always owe the difference. So it's not like a copay or when Blue Cross says this is how much they can charge, that's it, and they don't ever charge you more. Dental insurance is a little unique. So if it's something that you feel like you're going to get the full use out of, you are going to need a lot of work, or you know that you're going to have a lot more than just cleanings, there are some good plans that are out there. I would point you to eHealth Insurance and whatnot. But typically, dental insurance it's a money maker for the insurance company and not a money saver for you. We have dental insurance, and the reason we got it was for braces. And we just kind of took them to the cleaner this year, so just don't tell them that. But we switched dental insurance just to handle braces because I had 2 that needed to go into them, and I was busy digging for everything that we could to manage that braces price as much as we could. But outside of having a big family and needing braces, when it was just my husband and I, we would never recoup the cost of dental insurance with that monthly fee. So if you think about it just as an example, $30 for a single person, it's kind of a going rate, $31, $32 a month for a single person for dental insurance. That's, quick math. We were talking about $360 a year. If you see the dentist twice and they charge $150 for each time you go in for a cleaning twice, you never have fillings, that was $300 a year. So you see where I'm going there? You're really out $60. You paid more for the insurance than you actually used through the services. So you have to decide how much you're going to use dental insurance before you really, really pay for it. There we go. What if you're on the other end of the spectrum? I saved for years with my 401k but became ill at 53, and it took over a year to get Social Security, disability, and pension, and we had to live off that. Is there anything one can do to help recover financially? So Shanna, that is a tough one. I would say with the 401k, I'm not sure whether you had to deal with the penalties and all of that. You've already taken all the money out. At this point, I would treat it as if you are starting here. We're not really going to think about what happened in the past, and we're going to try our best going forward to still put money into a traditional IRA. You're probably not working at this point, so we don't have the ability to put into a 401k. To put into an IRA, I do have to have earnings. So that can be a tricky one too. Maybe it's just going into a savings account for you, a money market account. You don't get the tax benefits of the IRA, but going with a money market account, I can get a higher interest rate than a normal savings account. To try to have some money put aside, I would encourage anyone that has nothing that we at least start with a rainy day fund. So a rainy day fund, Dave Ramsey's going to say 6 months worth of living expenses. That's a ton of money. Most of us could never take half of our salary and just manage to save that tomorrow, but it is something to try to reach. It's a good goal. I would encourage you to start with $1,000. Let's get $1,000 into a savings account, and then let's start from there, working towards another one, but definitely start. So, you know, Shanna, you were asking me what was numbers 1 through 5 as we jumped through, and some of them were just talking expenses and IRAs, but to jump ahead, really there in number 9, if we want to have numbers directly on them, and one of the big things that I would encourage everyone to do tomorrow is to log into your bank and let's go ahead and set up automatic deductions to a savings account. So I'm not waiting on myself to put that money in. I'm not waiting for the end of the month to see if that money is still there. I'm doing it from the start. I get paid on the 1st. I'm going to set up an automatic deduction to the savings account on the 3rd. Don't do it the next day because there are moments with holidays that can be really screwed up. But let's give it a couple days and boom, that money is going to get pulled to a savings account. Go with what you feel comfortable with, but I would encourage you to kind of push yourself just a little bit, because if that money is left over at the end of the month, most of us spend it. So let's put in those automatic transfers now. Another inside tip that I would give you is that I would encourage you to make those savings accounts. I kind of view them like offshore accounts, but let's put them online. Let's not put them at your local bank. The reason for that is that it actually makes it feel harder to get a hold of that money. So if I've put that money into an online savings account, it usually takes 2 to 3 days to transfer money in and 2 to 3 days to transfer money out. So there is no walking around Target and I saw a really great deal and I bought it and I'm just going to move money to cover what I bought. That's not going to happen. And it's going to reduce the amount that you go into it for splurges. So we use Capital One online. I put a link in there. It's really a referral link. Anybody can do this if you have a Capital One account, but if you go through the link that is in the post at the top of the video, you do get a $25 bonus when you open a savings account. There are a lot of other banks that are entirely online like that, but that's what I would encourage you to do. I can't go to a local Capital One bank. They do send you a little debit card. Just cut that puppy up. We are not going to use it. This is a savings account. And that's entirely how we're going to use it. And let's set up those transfers now to go into it. You can also go ahead and set up additional. So set up one account and then set up sub-accounts underneath it. If you want a vacation fund and you want, you want to escrow everything yourself and pay for your home insurance and your whatever, you can set up all those other little sub-accounts too. And most online banks let you do that. That's going to help you kind of take that savings to a whole new level too. Okay. Oh, and Twist is throwing in a great deal on saving with prescriptions. If you want better deals on your prescriptions, check and see if the brand is available at a discount through the manufacturer. Most brand prescriptions are cheaper than generics. So you should definitely be calling around. There's a lot of ways to save on prescriptions. But calling the brand directly, seeing if they have a discount card that they offer for their brand, especially all my folks that have asthma. Those are some really expensive inhalers, but the brands can give you some significant discounts going directly through them. So it's a good tip. Thanks for sharing that one, Twist. Oh, Shanna, in terms of budgeting and saving, it's hard. So I would encourage you, let's go ahead and maybe start to renegotiate some bills now. That is actually one of our tips tonight too. This is an amazing time to renegotiate your annual bills. And I mostly, when we say renegotiate, I don't mean the electric company. You're not going to get anywhere on that one, or the water company. I mean your discretionary bills. So your cable bill, your phone bill, your cell phone bill, anything in that realm, your Sirius XM bill, whatever it is that you're paying for, that it doesn't clothe you, it doesn't feed you, and it doesn't house you. In reality, it is not a need. That's hard for some folks, but let's just define that really quick. If it doesn't clothe you, house you, or feed you, you don't actually have to have it. And if money is an issue, those need to be the first things to go. If money is okay, but we'd like to save some more, then those are the first things that need to be renegotiated. So December is a great month for that because all of those bills, they see the most number of cancellations in December and January. So they're working on customer retention. They want to end the year not losing your business, but they have a lot of people that are calling and canceling so that they can pay for those, you need to pay for Christmas, you need to pay for the unexpected bills that are coming in. They know people are going to cancel. So December and January are hard for them. They have some really good customer retention specials that they tend to run in December and January. So go ahead and take advantage of those. Call and see what you can do. A friend of mine called DirecTV over the weekend, and just DirecTV alone, it was a savings of $50 a month off of the regular plan. That's $600 a year. If you want DirecTV, that's a chunk of money that you were paying and now you're not. The best thing to do whenever you call these companies, if they have the, press this for this button and press this for this department, always push that you want to cancel. Just don't come in and say, I want a better deal. Just flat out, I want to cancel. And they will jump right in to trying to stop you from canceling. If they don't, the next thing you can do is to call around. So I want to see what AT&T is offering, and I want to see what Comcast is offering, and let's pit them against each other and see who can come up with a better deal. But that is how you go about renegotiating your bills. You need to be doing it once a year. So put it on your calendar, but December and January are great times of the year to do that. And you'll see usually the best results from it. It's a very lucrative time for you to do that. Let's see. Yes, Tambry, dental plans do have waiting periods, so you need to kind of look into that. We managed to work that one out quite well. So with our orthodontic coverage, we didn't have to deal with that. It's going to be whether or not you've had a gap in dental coverage, and we were with a group plan. So you do need to kind of do some hunting before you spend a ton of money just to get orthodontic coverage. Make sure you've read the fine print on that one, but we were good. Let's see. Oh, yes, and folks are still talking about that 401k match. Your company, your employer should always tell you what the 401k match is. If you're eligible for the 401k, this is it's really a law. They have to give you a sheet of paper every year that details out what the plan is and how much they match for the plan and whether or not you're eligible for it. The match is going to be different for every company, though. Let's see. Is there a good way to save money on internet? I cut the cable and I'm saving there, but I still spend about $60 a month on internet. So Paige, really, that one is a tough one. It depends on where you live. For some of us, we have one option for internet, and you don't have another competitor that's going to come in and give you a lower price on that. What you can do is still call them and see if they're running any current specials. Are they, offering anything to keep clients? I mean, you could still threaten to leave. One option might be using internet through your phone and kind of figuring out how that would work. Would you kind of max it out? Would it be cheaper to do that? But you can always threaten to leave with the internet company and see if they will give you some specials. I know in the past, one of the phone calls that someone shared with me was while they didn't get a discount when they called, they actually got a higher rate. So the person on the phone said, you know what, we're not currently offering any specials, but I can give you a faster speed of internet for the same price. So, I mean, I guess they got something out of the phone call. It's better than not making the phone call at all for no additional cost whatsoever. But you can still call and definitely try, Paige, even if you don't have a competitor that can help to bring down that cost. Is it worth it to switch from Verizon to Verizon prepaid or Straight Talk cell phone service? So Jessica, Straight Talk versus Verizon is a lot cheaper when you start to really compare the plans. So I would at least encourage you to sit there and put them next to each other. Keep in mind, Straight Talk's not going to come right out and say it. They're not allowed to, but pretty much everyone will tell you that they run on Verizon towers. So Straight Talk your actual service is going to be pretty comparable to what you have through Verizon. But I would map out what you're currently using and what they're offering, and you're going to find that it's typically cheaper. And yeah, and Mayhing's chiming in with that same one too. Does AT&T bill you a month in advance? If that's what you've heard. So Jonathan, I'm not entirely sure. You're going to make me have to go study our bill. But a lot of times it is that you're paying for service before you use it, and that your insurance is technically billing you a month in advance too. Nobody wants to trust you that you'll pay them in the end. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the case on your phone bill too. Yes, Cindy's saying the best thing we ever did was drop the $140 TV and internet package and got internet for $40 a month. Exactly. So just stream away. We don't really need normal TV anymore. You can get everything just directly through streaming it. So let's see. Looking in on the other side. Okay, haven't missed anything on the YouTube side either. And Cindy, just a little plug there. I plug this a lot whenever it pulls up. But if you are looking to stream, we actually have another website that we run, which is called Movie Search. And it's Movie Search with 2 O's, so like a cow, vsearch.com. And you can type in whatever movie it is that you're wanting to watch. So if you have a whole bunch of Christmas movies that you want to catch, type in the Christmas movies and it will show you where you can stream those for free right now across all the streaming providers. So that's exactly what we do. No cable here for us at all. It's all about streaming. Okay, so one other one, we've kind of hit all of them. We're doing great. So number 10 that I had on my list of things that I would knock out before Christmas is going ahead and doing some Christmas cleanup and selling of items around the house. So this is honestly a great thing to teach your kids, but it's a good thing for us to follow too. So before we unwrap all the new, let's kind of get rid of some of the old that we're not using. But instead of getting rid and completely just donating, which is great, I'm not opposed to just donating, but you can actually sell. So an example for us, if you have a iPad that is more like a paperweight because it's so old that it can't have any of the new iOSs on it, sell it. This on eBay is worth almost $40 to $50 depending on when you sell it. And it doesn't work. Fine by me. People really want it for parts, but you can sell it. So use eBay, use Amazon Marketplace. It's very easy to get started selling on Amazon. I will warn you, if you're just selling a few things, honestly, Amazon's fees are a little bit higher than eBay's fees. So I may just kind of, if we're just going to sell a few things before Christmas, let's pop them over on eBay. There's still a lot of people that use eBay, even if you feel like, whoa, I haven't even thought about eBay in 15 years. It's still there. And there's a number of things that you could sell and make some good money on before Christmas. eBay, Amazon, both of them have great apps to get you started. If you're curious, it's free to create an Amazon seller account. And Amazon does have a fun app. So I'm not going to say that you should sell through Amazon, but if you want to kind of play around and just see. So Amazon has a fun app, and what you do is using the app, I can scan the barcode of any product or type in the product. It even has some products that it can recognize just by holding the product up in front of it. And it kind of does like facial recognition basically of that product. And it will tell you what it's currently being sold for on Amazon and what your profit would be. So it's going to give you a really good early heads up as to whether or not that's worthwhile or not. I do not mean trading items in here, guys. So the Amazon trade-in, if you do that, you're going to be really disappointed when you scan books in using their app and it tells you that your book is worth like 25 cents. When in reality, I could turn around and sell that book on eBay for $5 or $7 a piece. Just to, Amazon trade-in isn't really worth what they're offering by any means. But it is a good way to sell things if you want to look at going into the Amazon seller side, Amazon Marketplace side. So Paige said, is there any way to see what Amazon Prime offers or YouTube Red before committing to pay each month? So Paige, again, if that movie search that we just stuck in the comments, We have everything that is on Amazon Prime in there, and really you could kind of go through. One of the things Movie Search is going to let you do is click what providers you have over on the column. So click Amazon Prime, and it's going to sort all the movies to that. I personally like it. This is probably not my husband's favorite feature, but my favorite way to search is to click Amazon Prime and click Netflix, and then click Family Friendly and click Romance Comedies, and you get the idea. So my husband's out at that point. But it's going to start filtering down based on genre, based on rating. I just want PG. I want nice, happy Hallmark. And then it's going to show me what's available on Amazon Prime and Netflix, and that's it. It's not going to show it to me if it's not on one of those two servers, because that's what I selected. Now you can search for all sorts of them. That's just an example of how you can narrow out your searches using Movie Search. And again, that's Movie Search with 2 O's, so MOOVIE search.com. Oh, and Margaret, thank you. Facebook Marketplace is also a good place to sell. And I will confess, I personally have not sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, but my husband has. Craigslist is still a decent place, kind of sketch, but Facebook Marketplace works great too with a lot less overhead than Amazon Marketplace. So I would point you first to eBay or Facebook if we were really going to make the list. Let's see. How can I scan for what price is going on Amazon? So Jonathan, it's using the Amazon Seller app. It's a completely different app in the App Store. And to use that app, you actually have to have an Amazon Seller account. It's free to get an Amazon Seller account. They have two. One of them is not free, so choose the free one. And then you can use that Amazon app to start scanning products and just get an idea for what they're selling for on Amazon. Doesn't mean you ever have to list anything on Amazon, but it is a fun way to get an idea as to whether or not that item is worth something to sell. And as you're cleaning out, it'd be pretty sweet to make back a chunk. You're going to end up, if you did sell something through that, Jonathan, you're going to end up getting paid. They really will do a direct deposit. They'll do Amazon gift cards. Amazon's going to give you a lot of options. eBay, a lot of those places are going to pay you through PayPal. Facebook Marketplace, Facebook has its own payment platform now, but I know some people you can check out with folks in other ways if you wanted to do kind of local meetups too. Okay. And Jeff's throwing in another one on the YouTube side. Jeff, I agree with you. So we have not talked mortgage refinance. Rates are crazy low right now. I actually mentioned last week that we are looking at refinancing our house too. Not going to say that it's something everyone should do. I was explaining to someone today, actually, when you should refinance and when you shouldn't. You need to look at how long it's going to take you to recoup the closing costs of a refinance. So don't just run out and start to do that. You always have to pay closing costs. And banks will always offer to, factor that into the loan so that you have a no-cost closing. That does not exist. Those costs are still there, guys. So don't bite on that one. But rates are really, really low right now. For a 30-year fixed, you could get them as low as like a 3.7, depending on who you go with. We ended up online with a mortgage company, and so far have been happy. But we haven't finished all that, so I can't speak for it quite yet. But if you're in that boat, this is a really good time to consider it. And, just to put a little pressure on you there too, not only is December 15th the last day to switch out your health insurance, but the Fed is also having a meeting that week. So if I were you, I would probably look at trying to get started on that refinance before December 15th as well. So Paul's saying Netflix is raising their monthly fee to $10.99. They say they're adding better stuff, but they have so much junk. Paul, we tend to watch a lot more Amazon Prime lately than Netflix, but there are some fun shows on there. What I might encourage you to do if you're trying to find a way to save on Netflix, just kind of an inside tip, you can actually pay for Netflix with Netflix gift cards. You can put them in your account. If you use Netflix through an app, then you can pay really through the App Store, through your iTunes account. But we see discounts on iTunes gift cards. We see discounts on Netflix gift cards online, through the drugstore deals. I would encourage you to go that route. So instead of paying for Netflix every month through your checking account or your credit card, paying for it with Netflix gift cards that you got on a discount. So while they raise their rate, you don't feel it quite as much. It's probably where I would at least try to point you to. So Shay says, when's a good time to shop at Goodwill? Personally, I would learn what your store's schedule is. What day do they mark down certain tags? Because there's always one color that is on, 50% off that color today, and kind of learning what their sale routine is. Some people like to shop Goodwill the minute things come out because those are the best things. But for me, I tend to be, I want the things that are even cheaper than they had planned on them being. So kind of learning your store's discount is probably the best route to go. Okay. So my husband's chiming in on the Facebook side for you guys too. That's a help since I haven't done it and he has. He's a lot braver than me though. I won't do the whole meeting people for anything. That's his job. Now, we talked budgeting just a bit ago too, and I didn't mention but want to throw out some apps. I know we've done a lot of Q&As where that's all we talked was budgeting, and don't worry, we're going to do it in January because that's just the time to talk about it. But I do want you to consider kind of mapping out your 2018 budget now. Let's see how you've done in 2017. Let's look towards 2018 and some really good ways to get you started. Mint. It's a free app. It's owned by TurboTax as well, just like the It's Deductible that I mentioned a while ago. Mint's a good place to get started. YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. YNAB is probably one of the #1 rated budget apps. It's not free, but it's a very good one. Dave Ramsey's is called Every Dollar. There's a number of budgeting apps that are out there. I would point you to Mint first because it's free. And then you can kind of take it from there. The plus side with Mint is that when you get things organized, if you use TurboTax, you can actually just flow all that stuff straight into TurboTax because they're owned by the same company. So it might be a good place to get you started here at the end of the year because then you're going to make taxes slightly more easy for yourself come January. And it's free, but it's, it's an option along with those other 2 apps for budgeting. Let's see. Which service is the best for selling locally? So Shanna, probably the Facebook Marketplace is the best route to go. Or Craigslist if you wanted to, but Facebook Marketplace has got a lot more people on it. Let's see. So I just want to mention, oh, there we go. Jeff says, I found you about 18 months ago and did the CVS video and I'm finally running out of stuff. So lots of, that was some good savings there, Jeff, to stick with it and use it all up. For us, I've taken a bit of a break from CVS and I can't imagine when we're going to run out. My shampoo cabinet is still, if I push one in, another one falls out on this side. So we're good for a while. Anyone that is in savings boat, I did want to mention a few fun deals and I'll stick the links into. I popped in and did that quick video this morning. Again, the Kohl's deal has been extended through tonight. So you can pop over to the videos tab on Facebook for us. But I'll stick all 3 of these links in so that you guys can find them and have my husband stick them in too. So these were the 3, to me, the 3 big deals that I would not miss this week or through today. Sorry, not this week, but through today. So Kohl's through tonight at midnight Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, or 1 a.m. Eastern Time. You can stack 2 coupons together, 25% off your entire purchase and an additional 15% off your entire purchase, plus earn Kohl's cash back. So you should do some hunting. I am going to hop offline and buy some uniform pants for little girls for AHG. So we all have things we need, whatever it might be. This is a good day to go ahead and grab those. The other one that I stuck in there is a link to some new coupons. And I didn't even click through before we started, so I'll take 2 seconds and make sure they're still there. Yes, so this morning we saw a buy two, get one free DiGiorno pizza coupon. It is still there. I cannot promise you how long it will last. Another one that we saw, and I went and dug mine out, it's open. But we have a buy one, get one coupon for Hershey's Cookie Layer Crunch. That's pretty awesome. Like, happy Monday. We all get buy one, get one free chocolate. It's not on sale anywhere. Regular price, it's $3.79 at Target. It's $3.99 in a lot of other stores. So you're going to pay about $2 a bag. But the awesome part, and mine melted just a tad, but is that they're all individually wrapped. So if you're looking for candy to go in Christmas stockings, it's buy one, get one. So you should grab that coupon. Both of those are good through the end of the year. So even if you just print them today, they won't be there after tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, but print them today. You've got the whole rest of the month to use those coupons. And we'll stick that in the comments so that you can just kind of click straight through the link, and I'll stick it in the top of the video too. There we go. So my husband just stuck them all in the comments. So click through that and you'll be able to get all of those offers. Let's see, one other question. Kathy Brown wants to know the best way to consolidate credit cards. Okay, Kathy. If you have a balance that you're carrying, which is not something that any of us want to do, so just to, you know, to say what you're supposed to say. If you've got that balance, if you're eligible for some, the best thing you can do is look for a credit card that's offering 0 APR currently on transfers. So if I can do that, then let's transfer what we have to that card that's going to offer that 0% APR for usually a limited number of months. Let's say that they're going to go big and they're going to give you 12 months for that. Let's transfer as much as we can into that, and then let's try to pay that off ASAP while it's on that 0%, while we're not paying interest on it. Do not leave it there. The point is to transfer it and then pay it off. A lot of times, if you're living in credit card debt, the debt that you're living in is more than that card is actually going to let you transfer in for. So your best bet is to probably not consolidate if that's your situation, and just start to pay down what you can. Most financial budget folks will tell you that you stick with the one that has the highest interest rate first, because that's the one that's costing you the most amount of money. Dave Ramsey would not tell you that. He would tell you to focus on the smallest one first so that you felt like you were making progress. Dave and I do not agree. That's really bad financial sense. So if you have a credit card that has a 22% APR and you have a credit card that has a 17% APR, we pay down the 22% long before we get to the 17%. Now, you still have to make payments here, obviously, but you get the idea. So I am not a fan of snowballing, as Dave would call it, which is little, letting it roll into big. Let's pay off what actually costs money first, and costs a lot more money first. But if you can transfer to a 0% APR or to a lower interest rate, I would go that route first. If you wanted to go whole hog, let's see. Oh, yeah, and Tambouri's pointing, after transferring the money, do not charge anything. Really, if you're in credit card debt, you need to just go ahead and cut them up now, period. We don't need to add to that debt at all. No more credit card usage. Let's just pay them off and then make them go away. It needs to be your goal on all of that. Okay, so Melissa... Melissa's just sharing a deal. So 3 Pantenes for $2 at Kroger. We've got a lot of really good Pantene coupons that are out there. We're also going to have a really fun Pantene deal at CVS next week. So you could hold out for any of my CVSers as well if you are really wanting any kind of hair care deal. Jeff's asking deals on fall and winter office clothing. So Jeff, I would probably point you to Kohl's through tonight for some of those items. We also see some really good deals if you're needing suits, like Joseph A. Banks, I guess is their website. It makes my brain mess up with Mary Poppins for some reason, but that website will run some crazy good deals on suits all through December, kind of pushing people to get that for Dad for Christmas. So I would check out their deals as well, but don't miss tonight's Kohl's deals. Probably your best bet for some just general slacks and dress shirts. Okay. I'll go ahead and call it there. We're at our 9:30 mark. Again, all of the 10 things that we talked about tonight are in a post, and I put them at the top of the video already. I put them in the comments on the YouTube side so that you can head over there and kind of reread that, the links to the apps that we recommended, even to eBay and Amazon Marketplace. So hopefully if you kind of jumped in late or you missed something, that will help you to kind of catch back up over all of the tips. We will have a Q&A for the next 2 Mondays. We will not have one on Christmas Day, but we will have one every other Monday in December. So next Monday, we're probably going to hit last minute Christmas deals and some stocking stuffers around town with the drugstores. And one other one that I don't want you guys to miss, if you have not been shopping drugstores, at least look at the gift card deals that are running at CVS and Rite Aid. Rite Aid especially, they have gift card deals running on almost every single thing, it feels like. Buy $50 to Fandango, $50 to Regal, and get rewards back. I cannot use rewards to buy them, but I earn rewards on them. And then remember, Rite Aid rewards work at Exxon and Mobil stations, Bilo, Winn-Dixie. So I don't have to even go back to Rite Aid. I can get all those gift cards and then use those rewards in other places. So don't miss those deals that are running this week. We have more gift cards that are part of next week, but I don't want you to miss that one before we talk about next week's deals next Monday night. So I hope you guys have a great week. If I see any other great deals like today's Kohl's and our huge DiGiorno coupon, I will pop in with quick videos throughout the week. And if not, I will talk to you all next Monday night at 8:30, same time, same place. So you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.